Plate-burying veal chops with Catalan vinaigrette. They're big, bold, grilled over wood. Kalbi kui, Korean beef short ribs on a charcoal hibachi. And smoke-roasted leg of lamb, the quintessence of Provence. Meat on the bone, hot off the grill. I'm Stephen Raichlen, and from the beautiful Esplendor Resort in southern Arizona, it's time to grill. When it comes to flavor, nothing can beat meat grilled and served on the bone. If you've ever grilled a veal chop or smoked a rack of ribs, you know what I'm talking about. Meat on the bone takes us back to a time before knives and forks, when people had the primal pleasure of eating with their hands and fingers. So connect with your inner caveman. Today, it's all about meat on the bone. When you make soup or stock, what do? You put meat and bones into a pot, you boil them, the flavor comes out of the bones into the stock. So obviously, anytime you can cook meat or grill meat on a bone, you're gonna get more flavor. I call these monster veal chops. They're long bone veal chops. Each one weighs about 1 pound to 1.25 pounds. You can order these from your butcher. Now, it begins with the rub. I'll start by sprinkling the veal with coarse sea salt, freshly ground black pepper, lemon zest, that's the oil-rich outer rind of the lemon, chopped fresh rosemary, and dried oregano. Now the liquid ingredients, squeeze some fresh lemon juice through your fingers to catch the seeds. Then a splash of extra virgin olive oil. And finally, dry white wine. No need to measure here, folks. You can just free pour. Then turn the veal chops over and season exactly the same way. And to reinforce the rosemary flavor, you can lay a fresh rosemary sprig on top of each veal chop. Let the veal chops marinate for about 1/2 hour to an hour. Do this in the refrigerator. Meanwhile, I'll show you how to make the Catalan vinaigrette and set up the grill. Like all good vinaigrettes, this one begins with finely chopped garlic and coarse salt. You want to mash these ingredients together to release the garlic juices. Next, whisk in red wine vinegar. And you want to whisk until the salt crystals are dissolved. Then whisk in extra virgin olive oil. I'm using a Spanish oil. Ratio is about 1 part vinegar to 4 parts olive oil. Then add your flavorings. 1 finely chopped shallot, 1 finely chopped seeded tomato, capers with their juices, and finely chopped cornichon or dill pickles. Catalonia borders France, and this vinaigrette may have been brought to the region by the troops of Napoleon, who occupied the Iberian Peninsula at the beginning of the 19th century. Let me show you how to set up the grill. This is a wood-burning grill of the sort you would find in Spain and throughout South America. It has a flywheel that enables you to raise and lower the grate for heat control. Now, I've built a wood fire, and because we're in southern Arizona, there's only one wood to use here, and that is mesquite. And remember the 3 rules of great grilling: keep it hot, keep it clean, keep it lubricated. That means start with a hot grill grate, clean it with a stiff wire brush, and lubricate or oil the grate with a folded paper towel, dipped in oil, and drawn across the bars of the grate. Oiling not only prevents sticking, it helps give you killer grill marks. All you need to do now is put on the veal chops. Arrange them on the grill, all running the same way. This helps them cook more evenly, and it makes you look more professional. Notice the chops go on slightly diagonal to the bars of the grate. If you want a little bit more heat, all you need to do is lower the grill grate. How do you know when it's time to turn the chops? Well, first of all, you'll see some blood start to pearl up on the top of each chop. And then, of course, you can take a look at the bottom, and it's a beautiful golden brown. That means it's time to turn the chops over and grill the same way on the other side. You can see how effective these V-shaped grill grates are for draining off the fat. So if you want to, you can just baste the top of each chop with a little bit of the veal drippings. I like to cook these veal chops to about medium rare, more toward the medium side, just shy of medium. So take a look here, gently yielding. These babies are done. And if you have a little extra sauce, you can spoon it over top of the chops. So while the veal is resting, you can pour yourself a glass of wine. With wood-grilled veal chops, I like a nice Cabernet Sauvignon. And now, the moment of truth. Spoon on a little bit of the Catalan vinaigrette. And look at that, it's perfectly cooked. And you can see how juicy these chops are. Nice, you can really taste the wood smoke. Grilled veal chops with Catalan vinaigrette. It's big, it's bold, it's meat on the bone. Kalbi is the only dish I know where the rib is butterflied out into paper-thin sheets and grilled. And a pretty ingenious way of taking a tough, ornery cut of meat and rendering it crisp and tender. Every great barbecue culture has its version of ribs. Korea's is kalbi kui, butterflied beef short ribs, direct grilled over charcoal. If you're short on time, scant on space, and starved for flavor, this beef on the bone is for you. Beef short rib is cut from the lower part of the steer's rib cage, and you can see there's a cross section of ribs with a thick layer of beef on top. So the first step is to cut each rib into individual sections. Slide the knife on top of the rib almost to the end, and then fold it back and continue cutting. Again, almost to the end, and make another fold and cut the rib again almost to the end and fold it up this way. This is called butterflying the rib. Let me show you on this one. Again, slide the knife on top of the rib bone and cut almost through the other side. Open the rib, make another cut on the bottom. Open the rib. And you can see how beautifully these short ribs are marbled. This is going to give you an incredible flavor. Now the next step is to score the top and bottom of each butterflied rib. And what this does is it tenderizes the meat and speeds up the absorption of the marinade. Now, the marinade. The marinade starts with finely chopped garlic, and granulated sugar. And you want to mash these ingredients together with the back of a spoon. This releases those flavorful garlic oils. Next, add soy sauce and sesame oil, and finally, ground black pepper. And you want to stir these ingredients together until the sugar is dissolved. Just pour the marinade over the beef short ribs. Marinating time is about 30 to 60 minutes. Let me show you two other things we're going to grill with the beef. First of all, elephant garlic, which is about 3 times the size and 1/3 the pungency of regular garlic. And I've cut it into chunks to make little garlic kebabs, and thinly sliced jalapeno chilies. Next step, the dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is a reprise of the marinade. Garlic, pepper, sugar, and mash these ingredients together with the back of the spoon. Finally, stir in soy sauce and water to help cut the saltiness of the soy sauce. And again, stir these ingredients together until the sugar is dissolved. In Korea, kalbi would be cooked on a charcoal brazier in the center of your table. The closest equivalent in North America is a hibachi. Hibachis have been filled with lit coals, using this chute to add more coals. And you want to keep the damper open as wide as possible. More oxygen, more heat. Now comes the moment of truth, grilling the beef. So arrange the strips of kalbi on the hot hibachi. Bone side down to start. And while you grill the beef, don't forget to grill the vegetables, your garlic cloves, and thinly sliced jalapeno chilies. You know, in North America, grilling is traditionally associated with summertime. In Korea, some of the best is done in the winter. The grill would be positioned at the center of the table, and you come in January, February, it's icy cold outside, and you gather around the grill. And warming up is half the pleasure. Grill the kalbi, the butterflied beef ribs, until sizzling and golden brown on the bottom. And then turn and grill the top the same way. And the beauty of the Korean method is that it enables you to cook what's traditionally a slow cooking, very tough rib in a very short time using the direct grilling method. It doesn't take long, maybe 2 to 3 minutes per side. And we can just pull off the kalbi. And don't forget your grilled jalapeno chilies and the grilled garlic. And the neat thing about these jalapenos is they crisp up almost like potato chips. So let me show you how they would put this all together in Korea. First of all, you start by snipping the meat with scissors into bite-sized pieces. The beauty of kalbi, indeed of all Korean barbecue, is that it consists of a whole meal in a single dish. We start with a little Korean hot bean paste, and then a few pieces of the kalbi, a couple of jalapeno slices, a piece of grilled garlic, and this is a Korean cucumber onion salad. Finally, what you do is you sort of roll this up into a package, mushi style, and dip it in the dipping sauce. Wow, this explodes in your mouth like a 4th of July sky. Kalbi kui, beef on the bone Korean style, because sometimes big flavors come in small packages. Mm. Mm. I really love lamb. It has a very distinctive flavor, very pronounced flavor. It's well marbled, it stays juicy when you cook it. You can serve it rare, it tastes great, well done. It's extremely versatile meat. For most Americans, barbecue means pork, or beef if you come from Texas. So you may be surprised to learn that on any given night on Planet Barbecue, the most popular meat on the grill is lamb. For many people, lamb reaches its apotheosis in Provence in southern France. Which brings us to the biggest, baddest meat on the bone of all, smoke-roasted leg of lamb a la Provençale. Now, this leg of lamb weighs about 12 pounds, and it includes both the lower leg of lamb and the thigh. 12 to 14 pounds of pure proteinaceous pleasure, and it gets a triple blast of flavor, first from the aromatics, then from a rub, and finally from smoke roasting on the grill. To insert the aromatics, take a paring knife and make a series of holes in the lamb, each about 1/2 inch wide and 1 inch apart. Next, in 1/3 of the holes, insert a sliver of that quintessential Provençal flavoring, garlic. And in the next 1/3 of the holes, insert another quintessential Provençal flavoring, fresh rosemary. And finally, in the 3rd set of holes, slivers of black olives. These ingredients will perfume the meat from the inside out during cooking. The next step is to make the rub. It consists of equal parts coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper, and finely chopped fresh or dried rosemary. And as always, I like to mix the ingredients for the rub with my fingers to break up any lumps. Now, spray the lamb with extra virgin olive oil, or if you don't have a spray bottle, you can brush it with extra virgin olive oil using a sprig of rosemary as a basting brush. Now, sprinkle the lamb on all sides with the salt, pepper, rosemary rub. You want to cook it with the fat side up, so the melting fat bastes the meat during smoke roasting. This dish is a real showstopper, and it looks complicated, but in fact, it's unbelievably easy to make. And now for the grilling method. We're going to indirect grill the leg of lamb. And to indirect grill on a gas grill, you preheat the grill to high, then turn off the interior burners. You leave the outside burners lit. You place the leg of lamb in the center. Now, the Primal grill touch here is to smoke roast the lamb using wood chips. So this grill has a smoker box, and we take our soaked oak chips, they've been soaked in water or dry white wine, and simply place them in the smoker box. And the reason you soak the chips is you want them to smolder, not catch fire. Close the grill. Cooking temperature about 375 degrees. Cooking time 1.5 to 2 hours. Suppose your grill doesn't have a built-in smoker box. Simply make a smoker pouch. Start with a sheet of aluminum foil. Place a handful of drained wood chips in the center. Then fold the foil over and pleat the sides to make a sort of pillow shape. Then simply poke holes in the top of the smoker pouch with the tip of an instant read meat thermometer. What you do if your grill didn't have a smoker box, is you'd place this smoker pouch under the grate directly over one of the burners. And what I would do is one on one side, one on the other. He who says Provence speaks of lamb. He who says Provence speaks of vegetables. To go with our smoke-roasted leg of lamb, fire-roasted peppers. So we'll use the direct portion of the grill. Simply arrange sliced red bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, and green bell pepper on the outside burners. This is the direct grilling portion of the grill. And don't forget to season the peppers with coarse sea salt and freshly ground black pepper. Grilling time on the peppers is about 8 to 10 minutes per side. Fast forward 2 hours and check out this bad boy. So to test for doneness, use an instant read meat thermometer. You want to be about 145 degrees. That is a perfect medium rare. Bingo. You can serve the lamb on a platter lined with the grilled bell peppers. You never want to cut into a leg of lamb or any piece of meat right away. Let it rest for about 5 minutes. That'll relax the meat, make it juicier. And what you can do is tent the lamb with a sheet of aluminum foil. Tent it loosely, and that will keep it from cooling off too much. So why is it so important to cook meat on the bone? Well, the bone adds flavor. Remember, when you make stock or soup, bones are what you add as the main ingredient. Also, meat cooked on the bone looks impressive as all get out. Let's see how we did. And you can see, thanks to the wood chips, we actually got a smoke ring. Oh man, the garlic, the rosemary, the olives, it's the quintessence of Provence. So there you have it. Wood-grilled veal chops, Korean kalbi kui, and whole leg of lamb a la Provençal. The next time you want big flavors, think meat on the bone on the grill. See you next time. If you've ever grilled a veal chop, I call these monster grilling time on the peppers is about 8 to 10 minutes. Now, do you want me to see you? I'm turning them, they're not ready.
Put it back, put it back, put it back.
Pieces with scissors. And you know what? I'm gonna, hang on. Ay, I can't work a scissors. Oh, man. It's stuck.
There you go.